Olga, nice to see you.
Nice to see everybody. Thank you.
I'm sure.
Shabbat
And there's
shalom.
nothing wrong with your computer. It had to do with
It's
something.
the new one. It's new one.
Well,
new
in other words, if you did you have trouble getting on?
Yeah, but yes, but it's
Yeah,
the
but
new one.
I'm just saying that so
Yeah.
that you won't think it's your
I
computer.
know, yeah.
I
It's
know
not
you
for
have-
my computer. It was
Yes.
start to get in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then that's okay. Hello,
Hey, Sonny,
Brian.
are you
Hi,
ushering this year?
Olga, hi.
Hi, Olga. Nice to see you.
Hey, Sonny, are you back to ushering this year?
Nice to
I'm
see you.
going for Kol Nidra. But I'm going to be right by you, or you're going to sit in a normal spot?
Yeah, back for my first time since the pandemic. I hope I can find it.
Well, just look for Adam. You always are near the piano.
Exactly. That's why I was asking if he was going to be there.
I signed up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I was going to come today, but I decided.
ציון היינו כחומים. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. I'm on page 635, but you don't even have to turn to the page if you don't want to, because we're just going to do a lot of this. Ready? Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shir hamalot b'shuv Adonai et shivat Zion hayinu kechomim. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Soon enough, we're going to be saying to each other, Shana Tova. So tonight, when you see each other and wish each other Shabbat shalom, maybe you'll even say a little early Happy New Year, a little Shana Tova. So say Shabbat shalom, introduce yourselves to each other. This is a good bunch, a sweet bunch, an intimate bunch on this Shabbat just before we welcome in our new year. And I don't know if every person who's Jewish does this, but I will tell you that as rabbis, there's a certain time where we start to really notice the moon. We really start to notice the moon at Elul, when we see that little crescent in the sky, and we realize that now Rosh Hashanah, the new year, is just a month away. And I don't know about you, but in Elul, there's a lot of very important work to be done. There's that work to be done because it says that on Yom Kippur, that anything that we need to rectify with God, we're going to do that on Yom Kippur. But before Yom Kippur, any time that we need to rectify anything between people, Elul is our time. So when we see that crescent moon, we realize this is the time for us to be able to say to each other, I'm sorry, I forgive you, we still have work to do, we're going to do this still. And then we get another time in this month where we realize, really, we've got 2 weeks left. We realized this year on a super moon, on a blue moon, and we realized 2 weeks left, we still have work to do. And then earlier this week, we see that we have our waning moon of Elul, and we have just 1 week to be able to do the kind of work, spiritual work, to get this new year to draw closer in our hearts, and to do that kind of work that really actually sometimes isn't so hard. That sometimes when we do pick up that phone, when we do reach out to a friend, when we do reach out to a family member where there has been some tension, it's amazing how things clear when we actually reach out. What's nice about Shabbat is, right now, nowhere else to be, no other work to do. Right now is the time that you set aside to be able just to breathe a little easier and sing the songs of our ancestors and bring yourself a little closer to who you want to be so that we can enter into this time of Shabbat, this Shabbat just before the new year, with greater peace, with greater wholeness, with a greater sense of Shabbat. And so it is in this way that we light the candles of Shabbat. And I see that Lily Kornblum is here with us this evening. And I see that she's here with a lot of friends that a lot of times would go to Rocks before Shabbat for a little pre-Oneg happy hour. So Lily, I'm not sure which of your friends will want to come with you, but I invite you all, that entire row of happy hour friends, to join us here on the Bima, to bring in the light of Shabbat, in that festive spirit, in that spirit of friendship, that spirit of levity, that spirit of light, on page 120.
Penelope, you look like you're part of the happy hour, just so you know. You fit in very nicely with it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shama. Thank you so much. Page 123, there we find the words for our Friday night Kiddush, our Kiddush. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Shabbat kocho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'masei v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kiranu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Please be seated, unless your name is Ann Mira, who will be coming to the Bima this evening to be receiving her Hebrew name in the midst of this beautiful community. And Ann, we couldn't be more excited, more grateful that you are joining yourself to the Jewish people. And so we'll invite you to come to this upper Bima now, all the way. I mean, we don't, we want to make sure that you get the full treatment here. And so I'll just say to you that in a moment we're going to go to the Ark. You are going to receive your name. You are going to lead us in singing the Shema. And you're going to be taking it into your own heart. That's not a way that you're leading us. It's a way that you are taking it as a direction to yourself. I want to just let you know how grateful we are that you're choosing to do this, that you did your mikvah this week in this time of Elul. Now, this time of year for all of us, as you've heard and as you feel, has such potency, that has in it such power, not only to be able to draw close the blessings for a new year, but also to help us to draw closer to who we most want to be in a new year. How beautiful that for you that means entering this new year as a Jew. So it's in that way I invite everyone to please rise as we come to the Ark now. The little ark that could. And Anne, if you would, come with me all the way here up to the bima. And I have some questions to ask you. Do you choose to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people of Israel and to become a Jew of your own free will? Yes. Do you accept Judaism to the exclusion of all other religious faiths and practices? Yes. Do you pledge to bring a sense of loyalty and joy and passion to Judaism and to the Jewish people? Yes. Will you strive to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and the Jewish community? Do you commit to continually building a meaningful relationship with the Jewish people? Yes. Do you commit yourself to the ongoing pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge? Yes. Anne, I first want to say to you that your last name that you were born with is Me'ira, which means a shining light. I have to say that that is who you are. From the moment that we met, I realized that you have a special sense of spirituality. You have a special closeness to the divine in a way that really is inspiring. And so when you chose a Jewish name for yourself, Chana Ruth, Chana that comes from Chen, which means grace, but Chana also who had a prayer that was so sincere, the entire Jewish people decided to make that the way in which we would pray, with sincerity, with making sure that our heart was so fully in that prayer that even if we didn't mutter a sound, our prayers were heard. And Chana, that's how you pray, and that's how you live. And you chose the name Root for our beautiful ancestor, who herself chose to be Jewish, who chose to be able to follow a path that was unknown but close to her. And she knew that if she would follow her intuition, blessings would abound. Chana Root, that is your destiny, and we are so grateful that that destiny leads you to us here. And so, now, as I put this in your arms, Chana Root, I invite you to say these words of the Shema. How does that feel? Shema Yisrael Adonai
Eloheinu Adonai.
Beautiful. Amen.
Amen. And so, in this community, we want to have you stand right here as we surround you with blessing, as we raise our arms, our hands, our hearts in prayer.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God continue to protect you and bless you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine upon you. May God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you feel lifted by a divine presence always. May you feel the support of a loving community. May you feel your family draw even closer to you now. And may all of that bring you peace. And to that we say,
Amen.
Mazel Tov! Woo! Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov,
Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov,
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov.
Siman Tov.
We remain, oh no, we can be seated. And Anne, I'll give you a beautiful certificate after this. As we turn now to page 138 for Lecha Dodi, we sing tonight verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and on that ninth and final verse, we turn to the entrances of our home, of our sanctuary, and we bow to the presence entering as a Sabbath bride.
Lecha dodi likrat hala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat hala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat hala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat hala, Shabbat nekabela, Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad, Yishmianu el hamyochad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, V'nei Shabbat nekabela. Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki makor haberacha, neirosh mikedem nesucha, tzol maaseh ben machasha v'techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Hitoreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri shir daveri, kavod Adonai alayach nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Ohi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tzola. Toch emunei am sigula, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Page 146, we sing together the Baruch Hu.
Lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Lai, 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 lai.
And as we notice the time of day shifting, the time of year shifting, we're grateful to God for the ways in which we can distinguish day from night, day from light, Baruch atah Adonai hamari va'aravim. We're grateful for a light that guides us no matter if it's light or dark, no matter the time of year. We're grateful for our Torah that was given to us with love. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Page 152, Shema.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. As we turn to page 158, I want to share with you one of my favorite teachings that is a Jewish teaching that actually is a commentary on the book of Numbers, but it sounds like a Zen koan. Are you ready? It's this. Not all that is close is near, and not all that is distant is far. Not all that is close is near, and not all that is distant is far. And I think about that as we're drawing close to a new year, that in some ways it feels like it's coming close, but it only feels near if we actually put it in our heart and put our intentions where they need to be. And it can seem like some of our goals that we have for next year are so distant that we can hardly even grasp onto them. But if we put them onto our lips, beficha, and put them in our heart, levavcha, well then in that way they can be realized in this new year. And maybe if that's a little hard for us to do, maybe we channel our ancestors, the bravery that they had when it felt like freedom could have been distant, but they felt it near. And that they had the bravery to take those steps to be able to come into something that was so distant, yet near enough to them that they could realize their dreams. Maybe that's what we should do, because they had the bravery, v'charta b'chaim, to choose life and never look back. Let's do that.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei pele, nora tehilot osei pele. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים Ze'eli Anu Ve'ameru Adonai Imloch Leolam Va'ed Va'ed.
Ooh, this gets me
I
very
mean,
excited.
Joy is coming. You know this when you start to hear those first
You can't see this,
little
but
inklings.
on the cue sheet next to each prayer is the name of the composer and the setting that it's in. And sometimes it's not even the name of a composer, it's a type of something. Tonight we bring you a Hasidic Yismachu. So you have to kind of like get yourselves ready. Like this on your laps.
Here we go. It's the second one down on the page 162. Yismechu v'malchutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadashei Shemi Shabbat Kulam Yisbu V'Tamgu Metuvecha Shabbat Yismechu V'malchutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat Yismechu V'malchutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat V'hashmi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat Chemdat yamimo tokarata Shabbat Yismechu v'malchutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat Yismechu v'malchutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat Zecher L'masei B'reishit Shabbat Zecher L'masei B'reishit Shabbat Yismechu v'malchutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat Yismechu v'malchutecha Shomrei 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 Shabbat V'korei oneg Shabbat.
And that's the way you draw a little bit of joy closer. Page 164, we rise for our tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Yishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gvurot, umido melach, melech memit umachaya, umatzmiach Yeshua v'nemanata lachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yehallucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
As we wander now into silent prayer, for some of us, we love this time of getting quiet, of being able to find the words in our hearts that we want to be able to say to God at this time. And for others of us, this is an uncomfortable time where you're looking around and just waiting until you can just sit down and be done with this part of the service. I know you, I see you too. And I'll say that for all of us, there was this inkling that that might happen to every one of us once in a while. And so the teaching goes that all we need to do is to just be, and that the letters that are in our hearts, God will string into the prayers that our hearts actually need to say. So we have to do less and think less and maybe plots a little less and just let the prayers come however they do. And then whenever you're ready to be done with this part in your service, you can be seated.
Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, v'goali, lai lai lai. Lai 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 lai
There's a rabbi whose spiritual writings I love, but I think my favorite teaching of his, that's Rabbi Rami Shapiro, is that he says the next time you're feeling really spiritual, take a shower and go do something nice for someone else. Don't get so full of ourselves. Think about the people around us and what they need. So if you're feeling really high, great. And then take yourself down a notch, see what's needed around you, and do something about it. And in some ways, I feel like Misha Berach is our part of the service, where we are feeling spiritual, but we're also ready to take a shower and go do something nice for someone around us. Or we're thinking about people who are in need of healing, and that might mean that they're in need of some kind of help from a doctor or a nurse or a caretaker. It might mean that they need a little brightening in their day. It might mean that there is something that they need that we can do something, even if it's small, do something about. And so if there are people that you're thinking of now who are in need of some sort of healing, I invite you to hold them in your heart, to say their name aloud, and then maybe sometime after this service, give them a call, see what you can do. Hold them in your heart and do something about it. If you have someone that you're thinking of in this way, please share their name.
On page 677, giving you a piece of this where we say, God, I pray heal her, El na rafana la. But we're going to add the beautiful line of Refuah Shlema. El na rafana la, El na rafana la, El na rafana la, Refuah Shlema. El na rafana la, El na rafana la, El na rafana la, Refuah Shlema. El na rafana la, El na rafana la, El na rafana la, Refuah Shlema.
Number of decades and a half ago, I was in middle school band, and I was trying out to play the trombone. The trombone was a cool instrument. I really wanted to play trombone. It looked so cool there. I tried out, and the band director of our middle school band said to me, no, you're not gonna play trombone. You're gonna play baritone. Baritone felt like the least cool instrument that there could be. It was just a small tuba. At least tuba for marching band, they got the whole sousaphone. I was just marching with a small tuba, marching with a euphonium. But little did I know that this would set me up for my favorite time of year. Because what makes the aperture of your mouth to blow a baritone or trumpet, as I later played as well, is the perfect aperture of your lips to play shofar. Oh, it's perfect. Whenever I find someone who plays a brass instrument, I'm like, oh, you could play shofar. It's just this easy. And it led me to really, at an early age, love the high holidays, love the time of Elul leading up to the high holidays, going from shofar choir as a kid, going to all times in my life, I was always the shofar blower because I loved doing it so much. We've been hearing the sounds of the shofar for the last month, and that's been our big clue that in 1 week, this bima is not going to be here. This bima is going to be back there, and we're going to fill this space with 1,600 of our closest friends. That 1 week from today is Rosh Hashanah, this shofar has been telling us. But more so, tomorrow evening, we get the biggest clue that Rosh Hashanah is coming up. You see, for a full month now, our Sephardic friends have been hearing the tunes and the melodies of Shabbat ring through their communities. For the whole month of Elul, this last month of the Hebrew calendar, Sephardic communities change their nusach, their traditional melodies, to those of the high holidays. In Ashkenazi traditions, which Temple Sholom builds from, the prayer service, known as Slichot, is the first time that we hear those beautiful, enticing tunes of the High Holy Days. Slichot is an honored tradition which occurs on a Saturday evening before Rosh Hashanah. A Saturday evening. It's not always the one right before, because if, like a couple years ago, Rosh Hashanah was on a Sunday, we didn't do Slichot right before. It leads on a Shabbat beforehand. This year, that time falls on tomorrow evening. We're going to gather to study, to schmooze, to pray. Whereas the High Holy Days, those days of awe, begin, as Rabbi Conover shared with us, on the next new moon, the journey that we take from the mundane year into the holiest period of the year, that journey really begins tomorrow night. Slichot means pardons. It's literally the plural of slicha, or I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, is the name our tradition gives to a set of poems and prayers designed to help our hearts to experience teshuvah, that repentance of return. We're using this time to return to a path that we hope ourselves to be on. There is one of my favorite metaphors for Slichot and the sounding of the shofar, which of course we will hear tomorrow evening as well. The metaphor goes like this. Let's say you take a jump into Lake Michigan. Maybe you're on a big floaty. Maybe it's that now canceled Friday morning swim club. You're relaxing there on your giant inflatable plastic slice of pizza. And on your giant pizza-shaped floaty, you're focusing on the clouds. Maybe you close your eyes to deeply enjoy the rocking of the waves. And all of a sudden, you hear a whistle. The unmistakable whistle of a lifeguard. You look up and they're pointing at you. They're whistling and pointing at you. That is not a good feeling. You look around where you are, and you are far from the shore. You got on your plastic floaty way closer to shore, but as you were paying attention to the clouds, paying attention to the waves, paying attention to yourself, you floated away. You got much further than you planned to be, much further than you expected to be. So, you heed the call of the lifeguard's whistle, and you start paddling back to shore. That is the role of Slichot, and that's the role of the shofar. As we began the year 5783, almost 1 year ago, we set out goals for ourselves. We set out hopes for ourselves. We set out where we hoped to be when we began 5784. Yet, throughout the year, we drifted. Not quickly, it was barely even imperceptible, but we drifted away from where we expected to be. We drifted away from the shore. We drifted away from those goals that we set for ourselves. Then the month of Elul came, the Slichot service, and then the sound of the shofar. It made us look around and notice where we are. We didn't mean to float this far away, but here we are, a little further into Lake Michigan. And Slichot is that lifeguard waving to us from the shore, waving to us to float back, to come back to where we wanted. As we paddle our way back to shore, we have decisions to make about what we're bringing back with us, what memories we're carrying forward with us into 5784, what baggage we're clinging to as we float along. As we paddle back, we're ready to set a path for our next year, but we must ask ourselves, what led us to drift away? What distracted us from where we meant to be? Where did I hit the mark, and where did I drift from my goal? What do I want to lift up and remember? And what do I want to let go of? What do I want to leave a little further out there in Lake Michigan? What do I not want to bring back to the shore with me? I personally did not grow up attending Slichot. I'm not sure I had ever actually been to a Slichot service before becoming a rabbi at Temple Sholom. But it's quickly turned into one of my favorite services of the year. I love that it launches us into the High Holy Day season. I love that we get to hear Avinu Malkeinu for the first time of the year. I love that we get to kick off this year's study theme. I love how intentional it is. If you know me, you know how much I love meaning and intention. I don't really understand how I spent so many years of my life just jumping into the deep end of Rosh Hashanah without all that prep work of Elul and that prep work of Slichot. But granted, as a rabbi, we've been prepping for this time for months. This prep's been reading books and writing and writing and writing and writing. But not everyone gets to do that. We all get an opportunity tomorrow night to float into the High Holy Days, to dip our toes in, to feel what it'll be like to a little bit later be in that nusach, in that feeling of High Holy Days. Tomorrow evening we get to do it right. We get to do it with grandeur, with pageantry and deep meaning. We get to mark this time together. So we hope that you'll hear the sounds of the season, the sound of the shofar, as we all paddle back to shore, setting a new intention for the year 5784. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I'll start with our first announcement, which is Slichot. I don't know if you've heard about it before, but tomorrow night, starting at 8 p.m., it's a real evening service. Starting at 8 p.m., we have an enlightening and thought-provoking Slichot study session as we delve into the depths of this year's study theme from Joel 3:1. And then we're going to nosh a little bit. We have some special food. Remind me where our snacks?
Schmaltz and vinegar.
Schmaltz and vinegar, an incredible Jewish caterer in Chicago who's going to be catering our Slichot tomorrow. And then we go into some of the most beautiful prayers of the season. It's really a great opportunity. And that's mixed presence, so online and in person tomorrow night.
We're looking forward to that. And thank you so much for a beautiful teaching this evening. And I'll just also let everybody know that volunteers are still needed for the High Holy Days. There are many different roles you could play. You could become an usher and help us to welcome in people to the building as we welcome in a new year. We're always so appreciative of that. And at Rosh Hashanah, that's a time where we also give out bags so that people can come back on Yom Kippur they can come back with bags that are filled with different food supplies that people need for Nourishing Hope. So we hope that if you could at Rosh Hashanah to be an usher, to stay after, to be able to hand out bags, we would appreciate that so much. You can sign up online. We also need doctors to be able to help us on this Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So if you are able to help us in that way, we'd appreciate that. And also, we still need to make more chesed calls. And so if you're able to call people in our community, wish them a Happy New Year, check in with them, we would so appreciate that. We would love for you to be able to sign up by September 15th. All those ways of volunteering really help our community to feel like home for so many.
You want to tell about Shofar in the Park?
So on Sunday, we're having Shofar in the Park, another opportunity to hear the shofar blown. The first opportunity is at 10 a.m. at Loyola Beach, and that is with our religious school and our family school year kickoff and beach cleanup. We have a bunch of family activities planned, including hearing the shofar blown, so that's at 10 a.m. at Loyola Beach. And then at 4 p.m., we'll join in the Temple Sholom parking lot. Get it parking lot. It's very important, shofar in the park. And we'll join at 4 p.m. to hear the shofar blown with our community as well.
September 12th, this Tuesday, it's in person at 6 p.m. The Women of Temple Sholom are creating an evening, a band book to movie night, where they are discussing the 1970 Judy Blume book. I'm happy to say it out loud. It makes me feel young to even say it. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. That's what's on tap for that, so come and join.
And we hope that if you're available on September 13th at 6 o'clock, we're going to be having a High Holy Day food drive bag stapling event. And so that way those gifts, those bags where we want to be assembling for the Nourishing Hope food drive that will be on Yom Kippur, we hope that you'll help us to assemble those bags on that evening. Again, that's at 6 o'clock in person here at Temple Sholom on Wednesday, September 13th.
And finally, the next upcoming thing is Oneg. Right after services, we'll join for Oneg. We'll join to gather and schmooze, and that's going to be in Lakeshore Lobby this evening. So right after services, we'll head right back up the aisle and join and schmooze together with some good snacks.
And Anne, our Chana Root, Mazel Tov. We are so happy that you've joined our community as a Jew.
Amen. We're going to turn to page 586 at the bottom of the page as we rise.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר היה אדוני המלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Together we turn our hearts to those who we are missing, those whose memories still exist in this world because we bring their memories out each and every day with each and every deed that we do. We're especially on this Shabbat remembering Sandra Kane, Michael Dean Bade, Stephen Fistel, Ivan Cushion, Natalie Ross, Joseph Kramer, Ira Salzer, Norman Rosen, and Ronald Bernard Charfus, and those whose yard sites are observed in this week now ending: Joshua Aaron, Michael Burrs, Leonard Charnay, Benjamin Cohen, Joan Z. Ditkowski, Peter Dworsky, Phyllis Eatman, Pearl Elster, Harry Fadum, Greta Greenthal, Raymond Hartstein, Sam Herman, Michael Philip Cargman, Oscar Kofkin, Michelle Landis, Ben Lane Korn, Chaya Feiga Leibowitz, Dr. Andrew Lowe, Andrew Markow, Irving Meister, Helga Milberg, Rita Mormino, Sandra Novoselsky, Helen Pye, Muriel Phillips, Samuel Potashnik, Evelyn Rosenson, Sonia Setanovskaya, Nathan Shapira, Rose Sheffer, Ronald Lee Scheiman, Arnold Siegel, Rebecca Hootman Stanley, Scott Stoll, Jean Terrian, Sarah J. Donner Washam, Loretta Weinberg, Lillian Czar, and Barbara Zelvin. If we have names to add to our list of memory, I invite you to share them aloud. On page 598, together we recite the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach chilutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'yomechon u'v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'la'amei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudshah. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Useh shalom b'mromav, uyaseh shalom, alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Useh shalom b'mromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Imru. Amen.
We may be seated.
You may be seated. So I wanted to do something that, as we are about to embark on all of these incredible High Holy Day melodies, I wanted to take us home with something that you know very well, that is old school. And if you don't know it very well, it's fine. Just know that we know it very well, some of us. And one of my first jobs as a cantor, the rabbi had this really cool bumper sticker in Hebrew that had the very last line of this prayer on it that said, Adonai li v'lo ira, Adonai is with me, I shall not fear. And so it always made me love the very last line of this prayer just a little bit more. So take that in with you and sing with me now before I head into this week of vocal rest in between every prayer that I sing. It's my family's favorite time of year, where mom can't yell and talk too much at home. So,
Did we give the page number?
no, I'm about to give it. Page 625. Adon olam asher malach v'terem kol yetzir nivra li'ei nasa v'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra li'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hova v'hu yeh v'tifara v'hu echad v'yein sheni להמשיל להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית בלא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חדלי ביצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום הקרב בידו הפקיד רוחי B'yeti shan v'ya'ira v'imruchi v'yati Adonai li v'lo ira.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll join for Oneg in Lakeshore Lobby.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
And the Shana Tova for next week.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Okay.
Bella, did you find some place to go? Did you find a synagogue?
Shana Tova.
You're muted. It's okay. It's okay. Have a good week. And Michael, I'll see you on Friday.
What's on Friday?
Erev Rosh Hashanah.
You will see everyone probably.
No, I said to Michael. Usually he sits right by the piano. I had him. And but well, we'll see if unless it's snowing, I'm going.
No, it's not gonna snow.
Or something like that.
Shalom, Sonny, and we'll see you on Friday.
Oh, good, Susie. You and David both, huh?
Yeah, we will be there.
Oh,
And
good.
Friday will be your Shabbat, so it's a special day.
Oh, it'll be nice to see you in person.
It would be nice to be there in person. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Tell David I said hi.
He's sitting right here. He said hello.
Oh, good. I'm glad he's got a voice.
Have a good week.
You too. Bye-bye, y'all.
Shabbat Shalom and
Shabbat Shalom.
goodbye.